Last night about the first time that you and he met each other at Calves when you were very young children, and he seems to recall that he beat you 6-1, 6-love.
Yes.
And he doesn't remember too much more about that afternoon.
Of course, he remembers the wins.
Can you tell us your recollections of that day and what you thought about it?
Well, I wanted to forget it as soon as possible. Definitely, but it's been a great childhood, if you can say, that we had together. Growing up, well, as he said, it was the first time that we met. We were 11 years old or 12. We played a couple of times, under 14, under 16 in a European level, and then we started to play the professional tournaments. And we didn't play for a couple of years. He went to Spain. I think he was practicing in Barcelona. I was partly in Germany, partly in Italy, and we went to different paths. But then again, at more or less the same time, we developed into the professional tennis players. So it's been a nice story, about the both of us, and to be able to meet him in a Grand Slam final, it makes it even more special.
Could you speak English back then when you were 11? Could you talk to him and be friends?
Yeah, I had it in school, so already I knew some basic things. And back then he was, we were speaking kind of more with the signs, hands and legs and stuff. He was using more of a Scottish accent, so it was really hard to understand.
You also remember Novak, because you played doubles with him here in his first year, probably
yes.
Yours first year.
He had the hair.
A crowd of us came into a small room, and you actually took the senior role because he was completely and utterly overpowered by coming into a media spotlight. You seemed very, very composed already that day.
Because I wasn't facing that much media, in my early stages of a career. So, in one hand, it's been a tough situation for him to face this pressure of media and being a British player. Everybody expects him to win Wimbledon and to be the best player in the world because he's coming from a country of tennis, great history, and of course Wimbledon, we all know that it's the most prestigious tournament in our sport. And he faced all of that in his career, and he managed to become one of the best players in the world. So you got to give him credit for that. And we were I remember that press conference that we had. It was in the back room there. Yes, it was a couple of years back, and. I was saying that I would, in one hand, I would like to be in his shoes because he gets a big support, obviously, because of the country that he comes from. And the other hand, I wouldn't like because of the media attention and pressure that he faces.
You just dealt with that in Serbia, winning the Davis Cup in your own country. Can you tell us what that was like, the expectation of your country to deliver that Davis Cup?
Well, it has been one of the biggest success that we had in sport ever, and by far the biggest achievement in tennis. For me, one of the nicest experiences on the tennis court. Very emotional, very historical. It was maybe chance of the lifetime for us to win a Davis Cup at home. So the crowd and the whole nation was kind of expecting us to win that match and to use that opportunity because we were playing really well, and you could feel that the title is right there. And then after second day we were 2-1 down, and it wasn't easy, because we played for our nation. We don't represent ourselves, and that's what makes the Davis Cup different from the other events, that you have to think about the nation and all the people first, that you're representing them, and then yourself.
How disappointed are you, having won that Davis Cup and Serbia being the champions, that while there's probably an aeroplane full of us here from in the British press, there's hardly any of your Serbian guys here? Is that a disappointment?
No, actually I feel bad just because of the situation I was referring to just now. Actually, I'm talking English more often than I talk Serbian, so it's hard for me to answer on Serbian. Sometimes the questions.
Do you feel that beating Federer, flushing medals from 2 match points down, gave you the confidence to beat him again 2 days ago?
Well, it has played. That match has played its role as well under my confidence that I was carrying to this start of the season in the last couple of months. But I think it was more of the Davis Cup win that we had in first week of December in 2010, which gave me a lot of confidence boost. Just a strong wind in the back, and from that moment on, even though I had a very short off season, I felt very eager to come back to the court and play more matches, because I felt that I could play my best tennis, and it's proven to be correct, and I'm just very satisfied to begin my season, Grand Slam final.
John, back when you played Andy in the juniors, did you always think one day you would meet at the Grand Slam event in a final?
Well, we were both dreaming of that, definitely. I don't think we were planning to meet each other, but we were dreaming of being in the Grand Slam final. And but you could already feel at that stage when we were 12, 13, 14 that we both have a talent, and we both have great motivation and mentality to succeed. And we had a strong team behind us. Of the people who were supporting us, and I knew back then when I played him and when I watched him play that he's going to become for sure top 5 player, and came out to be true.
And now, is it hard to balance the friendship and the professional rivalry, or do you achieve that?
Yes, I sent him a message yesterday after his semi-final saying Perth final. It's Perth final because we practiced in Perth this year a couple of times and we had fun, and we played football here. He won, unfortunately, and it's fun. It's been fun couple of weeks, and I think we as well reconnected a little bit with the friendship in the last 12 months, and well, we have to forget about all that when we step on the court. It's all business. I'm sure he's going to be very eager to win a first Grand Slam title.
It's going to be an extremely hot day tomorrow, therefore a very warm evening. How are you going to cope with it, and have you factored that into your preparation?
It's going to be evening, no sun, so I'm looking forward to that.
You talked today about how you tried to win his first. Can you remember when you won here in 2008 and how hard it had been to achieve that, and what it means having that under your belt going into tomorrow?
Well, we both played a couple of finals already in the Grand Slams. He's played here and US Open, me too, and we both know how it is difficult to make that final step and win a title, especially if you have across the net Nadal or Federer. In 2008 I had Tsonga, and he has played a great tournament, and still, it was both of us trying to fight for a first title, and it was big pressure. Obviously, you feel that, you feel the expectations, you feel that you're right there. You just need to make that final step. But on the other hand, I was 20-year-old and kid who really didn't feel that much pressure and expectations off court, and was just trying to play my best tennis, and that's probably the reason why I played so well. And over these couple of years, you have going through the process of learning things, and just facing some situations you never faced before in the sport, and it's not easy, but you're maturing, and I feel that I'm more experienced, and definitely the winning a Grand Slam title here a couple of years back and having that for tomorrow's final it's maybe a little bit of the mental advantage.
Just further to the question before about the heat, you've got an extra day's rest.
Yeah.
How much of a factor do you think that will be?
At this stage, it's a great fact that I have an extra day, because It's been a long 2 weeks, and it's been a tiring semi-final against Federer, mentally and physically. And I recovered yesterday and today. Just had a good hit, and I'll be ready for tomorrow.
Over the last year or so, would you be surprised to know that starting with you in 2008, actually the player playing second has won the final, semi-final, playing the semi-final second has won? Do you think perhaps the guy who perhaps gets through early maybe has a little bit too much time to think about it?
Well, not so sure about that. You know, I mean, it doesn't necessarily need to mean that the guy who is playing second semi-final will win the tournament. Even maybe the facts are towards that. But as I said, at this stage of the tournament, you've played many matches. You've spent enough hours on the court, so you can't really lose the rhythm of playing points and matches. So as I said, quarterfinals, semifinals you're facing top-ranked opponents, and even though if you beat them in straight sets, you still have to go through a lot of physical and mental effort to overcome those opponents, and then you need some time to rest from that. So I look at it in a positive way, to be honest. I don't think it's going to distract me of playing my best tennis.
Chris?
Am I right in thinking this was the first of the 4 Grand Slam centre courts that you played on? When you played Safin in 2005, and if so, does that make it anything extra special for you, this arena?
Can you just repeat the question about?
Was this the first time you played on a Grand Slam?
Oh, on the Grand Slam. Okay, yeah. Yes. This was my Grand Slam debut, I think, right here.
And does that make it extra special?
And
the first one.
Well, I wasn't thinking about that actually. I think that this center court here is and conditions and the speed of the surface is most suitable to my game. So I think I've been playing my best tennis in a career right here in the Rod Laver Arena. So this can be an encouraging fact for tomorrow.
Last 2 English.
Novak, was there any time in the last couple of years when you were thinking, at the Grand Slams, maybe this Rafa Roger dominance isn't going to end, and it really doesn't matter how much I improve or Andy improves, those guys are just going to kind of stay on top of us?
No, I mean, if I was thinking that way, then the success wouldn't come. So we both know how difficult it is to face Rafa and Roger in the later stages of a Grand Slam, of any tournaments, because that's when they switch gears, and then it's when they lift their performance a level up and really get on top of their opponents. And they've been so dominant and such a strong 2 tennis players mentally, and it's just been fantastic to watch them dominate the tennis. On one hand, on the other hand, it was frustrating because you don't have the opportunity of maybe winning more Grand Slams, but over the years playing against them, you kind of get to know them better and start believing in yourself more that you can win. And I think right now there are a couple of players that are actually believing they can win against Rafa and Roger. So it's good to see that. I think it's maybe the greatest rivalry ever in our sport, but I think it's good for the sport and for the crowd to see more faces are able to win major events. So not to have them in the Grand Slam final for a while is maybe a good change.
When the Davis Cup, did you hear from Serbs all over the world and say thank you because nobody ever heard of Serbia, but now we're the world champs? Did you get messages like that?
You mean Serbs from abroad?
United States or any place?
Yes. I mean, it was celebrations all over the world. I mean, the people really loved the success that we have. I mean, tennis has become a very popular sport in our country in the last 2-3 years. Before that, it was only team sports, and we are still a nation of team sports, of course. It's basketball and volleyball, handball, water polo, very, very, very successful and a lot of talent in those sports. But tennis never had a long history, and now, so much success comes in such a small period of the time that everybody loves it.
Did it help your country's reputation, you think?
For sure. I mean, I think that sport is the athletes are probably biggest ambassadors at this moment for our country.
Last one, John.
What tactically will be the key in the final to you beating Andy?
Well, we have more or less similar games. We put some variety in our games depending on who we play, but our games are based on a baseline, and we can mix it up. We can play spin, defensive, offensive, and quite solid serves. So it's going to be interesting to see who's going to dominate from the baseline. But I expect long rallies, and I think patience and really using the opportunities when they have been given to you in a certain moment.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.